Two key areas that we're going to zoom in on today is pension reform. We need meaningful and effective reform, and also fair and equitable funding. And you can wrap up property tax and all those kinds of things under there. We will look at how these issues impact us here at Everett Area School District and how it impacts our students and then our ability to provide programs that they need. After the presentation, I'll have a few closing comments, and if time permits, we'll allow a few comments from our guests if we have time. But we do want to be respectful of your time. I have to get to my other job sometime today, so we'll keep moving right along. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Truth.
Thank you, Tim. I wanted to take just a minute before I get into my slides, just to have full disclosure, full transparency on what our goals for this legislative breakfast are about. We have a lot, as you heard from the introduction before, a lot of influential people, key decision makers that affect everything, specifically things that deal with our education system. As a public education system, we rely heavily on decisions made at the state and federal level. Our hope today, through the items on the agenda that Mr. Stayer reviewed, we hope to give you an idea of what those decisions, those acts of legislature, those laws that we're considering at the state and federal level, the impact they have at the ground level, the impact they have to students. So when we make decisions or we're deciding, are we going to vote for this version or add this to a bill, that impacts real students in real public school districts, just like here. So we're going to highlight two of our programs, as Tim said, and hopefully give you the tools, the ammunition, if you will, to go back and debate and represent and provide vivid examples to fellow legislators who are in the same boat as you are, making decisions that impact public education and ultimately public education students. So that's really what we're about today. That's the whole purpose of this event, to show the impact and effort, because we're not unlike lots of other districts of 500 across the state in the impact of the decisions made at the state and federal level. So that's really the full disclosure of what we're about here. I'm the lucky one that gets to highlight the success stories, the two cool programs that we're going to talk about this morning, and share a little bit about what Ephrata School District stands for. We have two guiding documents, concepts, that help us make decisions across all areas of our district. One of them is on the PowerPoint before you. This is our educational organization chart. Students at the center. We can go in and I can talk a lot about how this impacts decisions that we make when we look at things coming at us from the outside, whether they be new requirements or challenges with the economy. We try and start from the outside and work our way in. We make decisions that impact the outer rings before we touch anything that impacts the center of what we're about, the students. And when we look at opportunities, we look at, okay, how does this opportunity benefit first the students at the center, and then we work our way out. How does it impact all the areas that have less direct influence onto our students? So this is one of those documents that helps us keep students at the center of our decisions. Our mission statement. Our mission statement is in about 15 by 4 foot on the back of our boardroom. We had that installed because we wanted to make sure that every decision we made as a school board, that's also where our leadership team meets, we reference that mission statement constantly. If we can't connect a big decision, a big incentive, initiative, or any new program to helping us achieve our mission, we have to check ourselves and say, okay, what really are we trying to accomplish here? Because if it doesn't help us further the mission, maybe it's not something worth investing our time, energy, or dollars in. We often take apart our mission and look at it from different perspectives to really get a good idea of what it looks like in action. And we do this with our staff at least twice a year in formal presentations, and I know principals during their faculty meetings do it on a regular basis. Today, our mission statement, the part that I'd like to highlight, is that part highlighted in purple. Exemplary academic programs that inspire all students to reach their full potential. Exemplary academic programs. These are the programs I'd like to share with you today. These are two examples that we have of exemplary academic programs that help students reach beyond minimum expectations set by a test, that help them reach their full potential as students as humans, as adults, as part of their lives that they grow into. So first, I'd like to highlight the music department. And we've been enjoying the performance of some of our music department products in our guests this morning, and we'll get a chance to talk to them a little bit more closely. But just some stats right off the bat. You can see there we have music programs from the elementary to the high school. We involve a high percentage of our students in our music program. So we have about 1,250 students in our high school. 20% of them are involved in some sort of music program. Look at the intermediate school, middle school. 56% are in the, 56% are in the intermediate school music programs. Over half our students are touched by our music program. Music programs aren't mandated by the state. There's not a test for the music program. There's not a PSSA. There's no accountability from the state or federal level for music. We have a board member cheering over there. That wasn't a suggestion for a PSSA for music. Anybody out there, Rita? That's not what we were talking about. This is a big program, an optional program that district doesn't have to provide. It's not a mandate to provide this program, but it impacts positively a lot of our students. Our music program has received several recognition awards, not just individually, but overall as a program. We have about 50 students qualify for the county competitions, county level. We traditionally have a dozen or so qualify for the regional and district chorus, orchestra, and band. And every year we have one or two, and sometimes even more than that, qualify for state level seats in county or in orchestra and band. Some reaching first chair honors in those. So we have a very successful program. 4 times in the last 12 years, our music program overall has been honored as one of the top music communities in America. So this is a program that, again, not mandated, highly successful, and very impactful to the students that are involved, which, as you saw, is a high percentage of our students. Let's meet some of those students, and I'll tell you what, I'll just ask you to say your name, the instruments you play, and how long you've been playing, or what grade you started with lessons.
I'm Jonathan Lausch, and I've played piano since I was in 1st grade, and I've also been playing drums since I was in middle school.
I'm Ethan Faustock, and I've been playing piano since I was about 6. I've been playing tuba since freshman year, and I've been singing for a couple of years.
I'm Eddie Bondarenko. I've been playing piano since I was 5, and I started playing cello in 3rd grade and then saxophone in 4th grade.
I'm Kristen Chan, and I've been playing piano since I was 6, and I've been playing viola since 3rd grade.
I'm Erin Swigert. I've been playing violin since 3rd grade, and I started singing in the chorus in 5th grade.
I'm Hannah Rodriguez, and I've been playing violin since 3rd grade, and I've been singing for about 5 years.
Thank you. You heard several 3rd and 4th grade mentions. That's where our instrumental music program begins. So we introduce students. Some of them have been, one of them told me before when we were meeting, he learned how to play an instrument before he learned English. So that's pretty early, I would say, in his development. But our 3rd and 4th graders get exposure to the instrumental program at that stage. Again, not because it's required, it's because we believe it's important to get them started early to reach the high levels of success that I mentioned earlier. Can you give the audience just some insight? Remember, these are the key decision makers to help influence things, especially dealing with what we'll talk about today, school funding, to help fund the programs and experiences that you're enjoying. What would school be like without music, or how does music help you have a great experience at school? And we'll start over at this end.
I would say music definitely has a positive impact in every student who does music in their whole entire high school career, because it starts your day out on a positive note, and throughout all your classes you can make connections and just relate to everything that you're learning, you know.
You said positive note?
Yeah, I also think it's very positive because like it's academic in the ways that we have assignments and everything, but it's also not as like study based, need based, that you can still have fun doing it, and it's just a really great option.
I think it helps people cooperate together and interact with other people during music.
It's nice getting up in the morning and then going to school at, 7:45, 7:30, and instead of going to an actual class, you go, well, not, or she has a class, but like, instead of going to like calculus or something, you go into a nice music-oriented class, and you meet a lot of people there, and it's like a community, you all learn how to work together.
I feel like music's a positive impact because, yes, you get to play it in the morning, but you also get to make several friends within the music community. It's very fun, and people use it as an outlet for activity.
Yeah, it's definitely a positive thing. We're friends with a whole bunch of people now just because we're in the music program. And it's great, and it's a great way to express yourself.
Thanks, Jeremy. And one last question, and not everyone has to answer this if you don't feel like it, but I'd like to hear anybody's plans, because music is something you do, as we talked about, to start off your day at the high school, but it's also become part of who you are in some aspect, and you've identified your connections, your ability to communicate, cooperate with others. Anybody planning to take music beyond, either they're already taking it beyond the school day or taking it beyond the public school experience? Anybody have plans, ideas of how music is going to be a part of their life in the future?
Well, like you already mentioned, music is kind of like my second language and English my third. But once I'm out of high school, I plan on joining local orchestras. Since I'm moving over to Philadelphia for college, I plan on joining local orchestras around there. And then once I'm even older, I plan on passing my music skills down to my kids and teaching my children how to play music. I think it'll be great for them too.
Anyone else want to comment on that?
When I go to college, I want to major in music production. So like all the music you hear on the radio, like I want to record that and like just help create that because I love it and it's fun.
Thanks, guys. One more round of applause for our musicians. The other successful program that we want to highlight this morning is our German program. Part of our world language program, we offer 3 languages, French, German, and Spanish at Ephrata School District. Our program starts in 8th grade, so we offer middle school students the opportunity to take a language starting in 8th grade. That's, again, not anything we're required to do. There's not a state test or accountability measures for language programs. We do it because we know it adds to our program, helps kids connect to school and to each other, and also will become part of what they use throughout the rest of their life to achieve their dreams and reach their potential. Highlights quickly on our German program. Dating back to 2009, we traditionally dominate the national test, national German exam that's done within our region. And our region consists of about 26, 27 schools that take that same test within our area. We generally have a majority of those that score in the 90th or above percentile. You can see the 2009, 10, 11, 12, and 13. We have high numbers of students reaching above that level. Last year was a highlight year, a remarkable year for our program. There were 532 students that took that exam in our region. 26% of the students that scored in that 90% or above were Ephrata students. We also, in all 3 of the levels of tests, we had the first, second, or third place in all those tests. So out of 27 districts, you would think our percentage, our fair share, would be about 4% in that top 90th percentile. We get 26%. So our German program is blowing the doors off the expectation compared to other programs. This is one of those exemplary programs that helps kids reach their full potential. We're not sure what their full potential is because, as you see, we have some years where we're just, that's incredible, 26% reaching the 90% or higher. The rest of the 26 districts that send students to take this test have to fight over that other 74% in that highest percentile ranking. So really a successful program. Fortunately, we actually have Sally Weiss, our German teacher, and two of our students this morning.
Getting her breakfast.
Oh, she is getting her breakfast. She was also a musician, double duty. She should get double breakfast.
I know.
To talk more about the highlights of the German program and what it means to students at the Ephrata Area School District. Sally?
Thank you, Dr. Chu. I don't want to take credit for this German program. I've had two wonderful mentors who built the German program before I got here. I was one of those recipients. I was an Ephrata grad, went through the German program here, graduated in '79, and my teachers, Dr. Mara Anderson and Bonnie Stroll, built this program. It's my job to keep it going. We do a couple things at Ephrata for the kids in the German program that I think help kids meet their potential in ways that maybe some other academic subjects cannot. Studying a foreign language, what they get through that. I have three students I want to introduce to you. First, I want to explain, we do ask our students voluntarily to take this national German exam, and I have one student who's going to explain exactly how that works. It compares us to other schools nationally and how we do. And Dr. Troop highlighted those results. We tend to do very well. We also have an exchange program that we run with our sister city. Ephrata has a sister city relationship with Eberbach, Germany. And that was selected years ago when I was a kid, when Ephrata celebrated their bicentennial in 1976. And the mayor, back then, I believe it was Mayor Gerhardt, he helped to establish, he and a group of citizens in Ephrata helped to establish this relationship with Eberbach, Germany, because our Ephrata cloister, our landmark, the man that founded the cloister, Konrad Beisel, came from Eberbach, Germany. And so it was decided then that we would develop a sister city relationship with that city. In '87, it was decided or suggested that the schools in our two towns begin an exchange program. So for 26 years, we've been running an exchange program on a biannual basis with Eberbach, Germany. And it works like this. This summer was the year of the exchange. I took 24 students from Ephrata, and we were matched ahead of time, but we found 24 families in Eberbach, Germany. My 24 students were matched with a boy or girl their age in a family. I dropped them off on a Saturday with a family. They were picked up. They went live with the family for the weekend. I didn't see them again till the next school day. For 3 weeks, they attended school in Germany with their host brother or sister. They took a couple of excursions, but the goal of the exchange is to live the culture and learn the language. It's not about traveling all through Europe. It's not that kind of experience. It's about living with a family and making connections. Then we came home in the middle of July, and Monday morning was the last of this end of the exchange. 24 students, the same that hosted us, were here in Ephrata for 3 weeks, and they were living with their host brother or sister, coming to Ephrata school on a daily basis, taking a couple of excursions, learning what the Amish are all about, seeing the cloister, and then I put them on a bus Monday morning. They're in New York right now, heading home back to Germany tonight. So I'd like to introduce to you Erin Swiger. She was playing music for you this morning. And Erin was one of these students who was with me this summer in Germany and recently just put her German back on the bus.
So not everyone can say a language has changed their life. I think I can. Beginning in 6th grade, when the teacher said, pass your PSSAs this time, so you're eligible to take a language in 8th grade, my eyes were open to a new idea, language learning, and travel. Teachers also mentioned an exchange trip to Germany. That was the moment I decided I was going to Germany no matter what I was going. In 7th grade, I signed up for German and hoped I would get a spot in one of the 2 8th grade classes. And I did. German ended up becoming a passion of mine. The more I learned the language and the culture, the more I wanted to see it. For me, learning is that much better if you can turn it into reality. To me, math has like no point unless it'll help me solve something in real life. Language definitely translates into the real world. You can take knowledge of a language